Welcome back to the show. I am so excited to have a return guest on this week. A lot of people know who he is already because he's tagged in a lot of my LinkedIn posts. But Shaun Bernstein, why don't you start off by telling us who you are and what you do?
I think you kind of just said everything that has to be said. Hey, everybody, Shaun Bernstein, the Right Stuff Agency. I'm wearing one of these. She's not, but there is a bond there. We sign paperwork and everything. When I'm not busy being the supportive husband, I run a ghostwriting business called the Right Stuff Agency, where I help my clients with books and personal branding and websites and blogs. I'm a journalist turned lawyer turned whatever this is, and I'm having the time of my life. So that's really what it comes down to. Is we're here to talk about personal branding.
Yeah, and I mean, you were on the show a few years ago, which is kind of crazy.
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, talking about personal branding. And I think right now, like, it's coming back into the conversation because I mean, if you go onto LinkedIn basically any day, you're seeing lots of companies doing rolling layoffs, looking at people who are starting new businesses, who are finding new jobs. And I know that, like, my success is owed to, like, what I've done with my personal brand and how I built my personal brand and starting my personal brand so early. But why do you think that, you know, 10 years ago we were talking about it, 15 years ago we were talking about it? Why is it coming back around?
It's coming back around because we're having the AI conversation at a very different level than we were even 2, 3 years ago. 2, 3 years ago it was this brand new fad, even though it wasn't that new. It's been around forever. But it was this new thing about what do you think of AI? What's AI going to do? Now it's fully here. We see it every single day. People are using it. There's people who live and die by it and won't, exhale unless Claude or GPT say it's okay. And there's a lot of problems with that. I don't have time to go into all of them, but one of the biggest ones is that AI will not make you stand out as a human. AI will not make you stand out as a human. What makes you human is your humanity. It's your individuality. It's your decision making power to make decisions about how you proceed. It's the choice of what you say, what you do, how you show up in the room. AI is not doing that. It's not making those choices for you. It's regurgitating what other people have done in the past and throwing it together, but it's not actually making you unique. And so if you think that it is, you're going to get lost in the shuffle. You're going to end up sounding like a tired robot. And so, what AI has done in the last year or so, especially, is producing this content that sounds almost kind of maybe vaguely quasi human, but it's not human. It's not human. It's not human. It's not catching the human ear or the human eye in that same way that really good writing or really good content can do. And people are noticing. They're noticing if, they're just using AI or, oh, it's just this, it's just that. And it's not great. And it's a real shame, in my view, when you have spent so long trying to build your brand over the years, trying to build your business, to then have it washed away by a robot that's doing kind of a hatchet job of what you used to do really well. You're just, at my view, giving up.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you'll see people all the time talking about, the grammar ticks or like traits of AI and how that's how you immediately spot something. And I think that one, people are now teaching it to not use the M dash and bringing it back, not bringing it back. But I think like what you said is so important of it's just sounding kind of hollow. And I get, the temptation to use it, right? Like if you're trying to build a brand, your personal brand, and let's say you've got a full-time job and now everyone's telling you, oh, you've got to be on LinkedIn, you've got to be on here, you've got to be doing this, like it can feel like the easy way out. But what are some ways that, like, if you don't want to be using AI, you're seeing the content that you're not liking because it's got that hollow feeling? Like, how can you use it in a way that is logical but is not also going to damage your brand?
Here's my thought on it, and I'm going to be straightforward. I really don't use it. I use it a little bit, and I'll tell you exactly where you can. I use it a little bit in the back end of my business. So if you go to book a call with me, I have a calendar scheduling program that's an AI-based calendar scheduling program. It's my task management program. It's where I put in all my tasks, all my client projects, but it also leaves a link available to book calls And if somebody books a call in the middle of the day where I have work scheduled to be done, which is work to be done, but it'll actually put that call in, it'll take priority for that call, and it'll reshuffle all my tasks according to my deadline. That's really smart AI. That's a great example to me of where AI can really help in the back end of your business. So whether it's about getting organized and setting a calendar of when you're going to post content, for example, on something like a LinkedIn or Instagram, maybe it's for idea generation. There is certainly something to be said for idea generation. What AI will do is tell you what's hot, what people are doing. It'll read, if the internet is, quote, the room, it does read the room pretty well. So it'll give you a sense of, things that you can talk about that maybe you didn't think about. And it's not bad at that, truly. It's got some merit there. So feed it for those ideas. But what you then want to have is a unique take on that idea. You want something that's going to authentically sound like you. You talked about, and I love this because people talk about, oh, well, there's the obvious tell of the en dash or the emojis. Let it be a human choice. If I want to use a dash in my writing, I'm going to use a dash in my writing, AI be damned. That's my choice that I'm making. If I want to use an emoji, I don't do it really anymore because I don't want to be mistaken for AI. But I'm going to use an emoji where it feels like the right fit. I'm going to do the things that feel right for me, and I will 100% be able to stand by it as authentic content every single time. The last point that I'll make, and I'm going to give the shameless plug, is this is literally what I do for people. I do a lot of personal branding for clients who want to have that human voice and want it to stay human and sound like them, but just don't have the time. And that's where someone like a ghostwriter can come in. There's a lot of folks that do that. One of the things that AI has not done very well is perfected a lot of those LinkedIn strategies, like the direct messaging, etc., where it starts to sound really robotic really quickly. It's because AI cannot replicate that human engagement experience very well. It doesn't pass that, the Turing test. It gets found out really, really fast. There's a real beauty to being human and having that human, authentic experience that people can connect with and relate to. What I do find with my clients is that's what pushes them up to the top of the algorithm. That's what gets them noticed, is regular content that shows up as authentically human.
Yeah, and I heard something recently, and I don't even remember where I heard it, so I unfortunately can't give credit, but it was saying that AI can only generate from the past, right? Because it is only using data. It can only tell you what you've done, but it can't tell you what you're about to do. And it can't craft content that tells you what you're about to do because it can't forward look. Even if it sounds like it is, it's not really. It's just using data. Like I've worked in tech a long time. I was just joking about this the other day with another person who's been in the industry as long as I have in the tech space. Of 15 years ago, people were freaking out about big data and like, what is that going to mean for our organization and what are we going to do with this? And it's still like AI is just data. It's data that has a bit more interactivity with it, right? So if you want to recap something, and I use it for editing podcasts to say like pull out some quotes or where are the best parts of this episode that I can link to or pull videos from, but it can only tell me what's been done. Like it can't tell me what I should do or what I'm going to do next and how I should share that with my followers.
To that point, and you told me that when it came out, it's brilliant. I think it doesn't have any new ideas. It might have ideas that are new to you because they're somebody else's.
Right.
And so they're good, to have some inspiration. But there's no new ideas. There's no new creativity that's coming out of AI. It's not there yet, and it won't be there for a long time. It might be someday, but we're not there yet.
Yeah. And I think I talked about this recently on last week's episode. I was talking about personal branding or like new grads entering whatever industry, whether it's events or whatever industry that they're entering. We're entering the summer. People are starting to think about what's next. And, I was talking about how building my personal brand has been instrumental in my career. So what would you say to new grads who have been using AI probably extensively in school? Like, what would you tell them if they wanted to start building a personal brand today? What they need to keep in mind, AI or not?
I think what's your human advantage? And what advantage you're going to have over somebody else who's really well trained in AI but can't form an original thought? Having that diversity of experience, that diversity of being able to think through the situation is irreplaceable. It's what's going to get you through the day when the tech collapses, when the power's out, when something's not working, and you have to get something done, quote, the old fashioned way. One of the examples I always come back to is I was a lawyer, I took real estate law. They spent a class in real estate law teaching us the old school 19th century way of measuring property with sticks, two sticks, and a piece of string, and how far apart the sticks go. It's called meets and bounds. And she said, look, you'll never use this, but in case everything goes sideways and suddenly, we don't have all the tech, this is how you measure a piece of real estate. I'll never forget it. It's still an important thing to learn these things, to learn how to find something in a book, to learn how to find original source material. One of the things we've really seen with AI is that it doesn't always know what it doesn't know, and it often doesn't realize when it's wrong, when it's giving you wrong information, wrong facts. The people who use it properly are the ones who are able to think against it, to double check, to check references, etc., make sure things are actually done correctly. If you don't know how to do that, and if you take things at face value, you are going to fall flat on your face. So being able to have that human advantage of thinking in both ways, being really proficient at, where it's going to make your life quicker and more efficient, but also recognizing where you stand out as that human. That's going to be what gets you further ahead.
Yeah. And so where do people get started? Like, if they're like, I know that I should have been doing this for years, or I'm just leaving school and I should have been doing it, or I should start doing it, like, and they're looking at everyone who has either already built that brand, or you go online and there's just so much information about do this, don't do that, use negative folks, don't use negative folks, like write long content, write with spaces, don't write with spaces, use emojis, don't, like, it's so overwhelming. Like, where do you start?
Don't get lost in it. Just do what feels authentic, and start basically spending a lot of time. LinkedIn is a content monster. It's a vulture. And the more you give it, the happier it'll be. It's like a hungry puppy. So keep posting regularly, get a bit of a schedule going, have it be something that you can do, with some regularity. You can pre-schedule those posts. You don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, I have to be at my computer or my phone at this time to get this up. No. Pre-schedule. Get some really good images to work with. Start following people, start engaging, start commenting, become part of the conversation. Really build a bit of a network. Take things off the platform. One of the best things you can do with LinkedIn, LinkedIn's a gift, it's a free platform, but take things off. Say, hey, can we have a call? I want to learn more about your business. I hate the phrase informational interview and all that garbage. No, but be really curious. Learn what makes someone tick. Have a conversation. It's a great way to connect with people. You're not going to get everybody on there, but you're going to have people who do spend time there who can have really engaging relationships, and start building that out, and you'll see it'll just come back to you in spades.
Yeah, I think that's so important to keep the social networking part of the networking platform. Like, so many people use it as a billboard of announcement, I got a new job, announcement, I did this, I attended this event. And it's not, it's meant to be a conversation. And LinkedIn rewards you when you start conversations and people are commenting thoughtful things. And, personally, I set an alarm to just spend 15 minutes a day just commenting. And some days I comment on a lot of things because there's a lot of things to comment on. And some days I'm like, oh, I saw this all kind of 2 weeks ago. Not much new on the platform. That's fine. I think just being consistent with it and not just congratulations on your new job. Okay, that's nice to do, but that's not going to help your engagement on LinkedIn.
No. Have a very human conversation. Reach out, connect with people, offer some thought, have some point of view. Again, think about what's going to make you stand out and be unique as who you are.
Well, and I think, you mentioned the being human and being yourself, but I still am surprised how many people I hear from about LinkedIn that they are well, I have nothing to talk about. I'm not a thought leader. I'm not this. I think that, to me, that is very 15 years ago LinkedIn thinking. But when I talk to others who are not as active on the platform, I'm still hearing that feedback. And so, like, what would you say to those people?
Yes, you are. You have something to say. 100% you do. And it's amazing what can happen to you offline when you're really using that platform. Whether you are working for a nonprofit, looking to, solicit donations, whether you are looking to build a client base, whether you're just looking to be a presence and be part of a bigger conversation. I walk into rooms all the time and people know me. I have a badge that says that guy from LinkedIn. People know me from my LinkedIn presence. And I'm very clear about who I am, what I do, and how I can help. So it saves me a lot of breath when I walk in the room because they already know, oh, there's Shaun the storyteller, and this is what he does. They may not know everything, but it's at least a great icebreaker to that conversation that I have a presence and I built a brand, and I can then have very deep, informed conversations with people who may very well want to hire me and often do because they've read, I'm a writer. They've read a lot of my stuff. They know my voice. They know what I'm capable of. And they say, I want some of that. I think no matter what your industry is, there's a lot that can be done there.
Yeah, for sure. So, any final thoughts on personal branding? What people should do if they like, if nothing else, what would you want them to walk away with?
Best day to start is yesterday. Second best day is today. Just start, try, play with it, see what works. You have to really give it an honest effort. Nothing happens overnight. Your first post in 6 months gets some great traction. That's great. But if you don't post ever again, it just dies on the vine. Think about what your goals are and then really how are you going to make a consistent effort to be part of the conversation and commit to it. Commit to it as a long-term strategy. Get some good pictures. Get some really good pictures. It has become, there was a time where you would never use an image on something like LinkedIn. No, they're really doing well with it now. Some good shots of you out there and about. Not everything is, for the gram, so to speak, but yeah, have some really good visual to back up what you're doing. And stay away from posting the AI slop because people notice pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity.